See, I've always said it. Manchester City are dodgy bastards. It has nothing to do with all the time they've picked us to the league title. Doesn't matter. Even if our goal was in, it was in. Yeah, they photoshopped it, but it doesn't matter. I've always said Manchester City are dodgy bastards, and now the world can see it. Here are 11 reasons why Manchester City are dodgy bastards. Number 11. They were funded by the Freemasons. Back in 1894, Ardwick FC were having some financial troubles, and they were about to go bankrupt, so club secretary Joshua Parlby saved them. But he wasn't a rich man, and he couldn't do it alone, so he got the secret society known as the Freemasons to fund them, and in return the Masons asked for their name to be changed to Manchester City and play in the Masonic colours of sky blue and white, which is why they're called the Sky Blues. And that's why Pep Guardiola passes in triangles. See, Illuminati, I've told you all along. So yeah, Man City, literally funded by a secret society. You can't get much more dodgy than that. Also, before their kit changed to playing in sky blue, check out how they used to look. I'm not saying anything, just, looks familiar to another kind of uniform. Number 10. That goal was in. See, here's the camera angle they don't want you to see. They photoshopped it, and that's definitely what happens. You can't argue with this. Look at this evidence. You can't argue it. Also, remember when the Ivan Toney gambling saga came about? Who did he score against just before that? No, I'm not saying anything. Dodgy bastards. Dodgy bastards. Number 9. Ched Evans. Yes, convicted rapist Ched Evans used to play for Manchester City. Played there for 5 years actually, so yeah. Number 8. Fake sponsor. Not only are their trophy wins fake, that goal was in, but so are their sponsors. Betting company 8xBet signed up to be Manchester City's betting partner in Asia. Nothing wrong with that. Well, it turns out they might not actually exist. First, they released a promo video announcing Teddy Sheringham as a brand ambassador. In the video, Teddy Sheringham shakes hands with a woman who's depicted as representing 8xBet. That woman turned out to be a hired model. Then, the co-founder and CEO of 8xBet, Trina True, well, it turned out she used a stock image on her LinkedIn profile, and then that was deleted. Turns out that stock image was used on a cam model website, and that's... that's where I recognise it from. Yeah. But yeah, very dodgy. Then, when the Mail tried to follow up with Manchester City on this information, they were directed to a marketing firm, QOO Global. And also, they've got a lot of employees with fake LinkedIn profiles, so that company might also be fake. What the fuck's going on, Manchester City? What the fuck's going on? Dodgy bastards. Number 7. Breaching Uefa's FFP rules. In case people forgot, this wasn't the first time that Manchester City have been caught out for breaking financial fair play. Back in 2014, Manchester City broke Uefa's FFP regulations after failing to report £60 million of losses across the 2012-13 season. UEFA's FFP regulations introduced in the 2010-11 season stated that clubs' losses could not exceed more than €45 million over a 3-year assessment period, and those losses can't simply be made up by owners plunging money into the club. City said, no need, we've got all these Abu Dhabi companies sponsoring us. However, it turns out the Manchester City owner was the chairman of the investment funds which own those companies. So Gianni Infantino, then UEFA president, and when's he ever been dodgy? He reached a settlement with Manchester City. That'll show them, they won't do that again. Anyway, they got another FFP sanction in 2020, and after going to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, they got another settlement. Dodgy bastards. Number 6. More financial breaches. They fucking done it again. On the 16th of February 2022, Manchester City were charged by the Premier League for breaches of their financial rules. But not just one rule, not just 2 rules, not just 3 rules, not just 99 rules, not even just 100. Manchester City were charged by the Premier League with more than 100 breaches of financial fair play rules. Manchester City have been accused of providing inaccurate financial information regarding sponsorships, club revenue, and just generally being dodgy bastards. They've also been accused of providing inaccurate information regarding player and management remuneration. See, I told you, ex-City player Karius was still working for them in the 2018 final. He was a double agent, I tried to tell people. Concussion my arse. Someone at City turned the switch on. That's what happened. Also, who injured Oxlade-Chamberlain on the way to the Champions League final that year? Kolarov. Who did he used to play for? Just a coincidence, is it? Just a coincidence? He was on the City paybook still. He was. There you go. What more proof do you need? Anyway, over 100 financial fair play breaches. Dodgy bastards. Number 5. Robinho used to play for them. Yes, convicted rapist Robinho used to play for Manchester City. He was sentenced in Italy in 2017 to 9 years in prison, tried to appeal it and failed, so now he's on the run. An international arrest warrant was issued in 2022, so yeah, ex-City player. Number 4. Their manager killed Tony Soprano. Look, famously no one knows how the Sopranos ended. All people saw was Tony Soprano in a diner. Meadow was trying to park, Tony looks up, it cuts to black. However, we now have the missing footage, and look, while Meadow was there checking to see if she was in a residential parking space, this is what happened in the diner. Look, Pep did it, the dodgy bastard. Number 3. Adam Johnson used to play for them. Yes, convicted nonce Adam Johnson used to play for Manchester City. See, another one, dodgy bastards. Number 2. They used to be owned by Thaksin Shinawtra. Yes, Manchester City don't just have one dodgy owner, because before Sheikh Mansour took over Man City, it was owned by a bloke called Thaksin Shinawtra, former president of Thailand. On the 21st of June 2007, after a military coup was staged to oust him from power, his attempt to buy 30% of Liverpool failed, because we weren't keen for him fleecing rural farmers and other citizens with a state lottery to pay for it. And also, we weren't keen on his human rights record. You know, his war on drugs that killed thousands of people, some of which many have said had nothing to do with the drugs game at all. But Manchester City, nah, they didn't mind. They were like, that all sounds good to me. Come on, son, come and buy the club. And he bought Manchester City for over 80 million. He would only own the club for a year when Sheikh Mansour bought the club for £150 million. The money would come in handy for Thaksin Shinawtra because all of his assets were frozen back in Thailand, so you know, that came with some use. The Thailand Supreme Court convicted Thaksin Shinawtra to 2 years in prison on charges of abuse of power in just one of 4 corruption cases that were pending against him. This led to Thaksin Shinawtra going on a self-imposed exile from Thailand, so he'll need that 150 million for a lot of nights at the Travelodge. Maybe him and Robinho could room together. Dodgy bastards. Speaking of dodgy owners, number 1. Their current ownership. Sheikh Mansour is a member of the United Arab Emirates royal family. He's one of the sons of the UAE's founder, and he's the brother of the Crown Prince of the UAE. Sheikh Mansour himself has held several government roles, including the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates. And here are some of the UAE's human rights violations. Unfair trials, lack of freedom of the press, failure to investigate allegations of torture, discrimination against women, and the abuse of migrant workers through the kafala system, which some say treats migrant workers even worse than Qatar does. So in 2008, when Sheikh Mansour wanted to buy a football team, you know, maybe take people's minds off the human rights violations, he imagined, who could we buy? He looked at the table and seen Man City. Sounds like Mansour, their moral compass, it's a bit wayward, let's buy it. And the rest is history. Also, who used to sponsor the Premier League until 2016? Barclays. Who did Sheikh Mansour bail out for £2 million after the 2008 financial crisis? Yes, it was Barclays. You telling me that's a coincidence? I think not. Dodgy bastards. Anyway, please like and subscribe.